Hi everyone, welcome back to Rabbi's Reflection. I'm glad that you're joining with us today. We'll be reading from My Grandfather's Blessings by Dr. Rachel Naomi Remen, and today reading the story Blessing. Stay with us as we read through the story and then offer some reflections. On Friday afternoons, when I would arrive at my grandfather's house after school, the tea would already be set on the kitchen table. My grandfather had his own way of serving tea. There were no teacups and saucers, or bowls of granulated sugar or honey. Instead, he would pour the tea directly from the silver samovar into a drinking glass. There had to be a teaspoon in the glass first, otherwise the glass, being thin, might break. My grandfather did not drink his tea in the same way that the parents of my friends did either. He would put a cube of sugar between his teeth and then drink the hot tea straight from the glass. So would I. I much preferred drinking tea this way to the way I had to drink tea at home. After we had finished our tea, my grandfather would set 2 candles on the table and light them. Then he would have a word with God in Hebrew. Sometimes he would speak out loud, but often he would close his eyes and be quiet. I knew then that he was talking to God in his heart. I would sit and wait patiently because the best part of the week was coming. When Grandpa finished talking to God, he would turn to me and say, "Come, Neshamala." Then I would stand in front of him and he would rest his hands lightly on the top of my head. He would begin by thanking God for me and for making him my grandpa. He would specifically mention my struggles during that week and tell God something about me that was true. Each week I would wait to find out what that was. If I had made mistakes during the week, he would mention my honesty in telling the truth. If I had failed, he would appreciate how hard I had tried. If I had taken even a short nap without my nightlight, he would celebrate my bravery in sleeping in the dark. Then he would give me his blessing and ask the long-ago women I knew from his many stories, Sarah, Rachel, Rebecca, and Leah, to watch over me. These few moments were the only time in my week when I felt completely safe and at rest. My family of physicians and health professionals were always struggling to learn more and to be more. It seemed there was always more to know. It was never enough. If I brought home a 98 on a test from school, my father would ask, "And what happened to the other 2 points?" I pursued those other 2 points relentlessly throughout my childhood. But my grandfather did not care about such things. For him, I was already enough. And somehow, when I was with him, I knew with absolute certainty that this was so. My grandfather died when I was 7 years old. I had never lived in a world without him in it before, and it was hard for me. He had looked at me as no one else had and called me by a special name, Neshamala, which means beloved little soul. There was no one left to call me this anymore. At first I was afraid that without him to see me and tell God who I was, I might disappear. But slowly over time I came to understand that in some mysterious way I had learned to see myself through his eyes, and that once blessed, we are blessed forever. Many years later, when in her extreme old age my mother surprisingly began to light candles and talk to God herself, I told her about these blessings and what they had meant to me. She had smiled at me sadly. "I have blessed you every day of your life, Rachel," she told me. "I just never had the wisdom to do it out loud." Hi, everyone. I'm glad that you're joining with me. And today we are starting a new book from Dr. Rachel Naomi Remen. If you'll recall, for a while we had been reading from Kitchen Table Wisdom, and now we're reading from a new book called My Grandfather's Blessings. So I'm quite excited to be starting this new book. I have really enjoyed reading the stories and learning alongside Dr. Remen, so I'm excited for this new book. And at this moment of broadcasting, this is also going to be a new year. So the first day that this is broadcast is January 1st, 2022. So a new book, a new year. This is an absolutely beautiful story, a gem to start with, to start her book with. Friday afternoons, she spends this special time with her grandfather. It might mean a little bit more to you if you're Jewish, but even if you're not, I think that time that you have with a grandparent, and perhaps the old time or spiritual or ritual practices that they did, but perhaps you or your family didn't do, it adds, I think it's something that we can all perhaps connect to, that our parents or grandparents had some older world or old time connection in the ways that we in our generation did not. So just it provides a really beautiful picture and image of what Friday afternoon must have looked like between Rachel and her grandfather. He calls her Neshama or Neshamola, which again, if you're Jewish, that means something. It resonates. If you're not, it means my Neshama, my soul, my sweetness. And there's a practice within Judaism that as Shabbat, as the Sabbath is starting, parents or family members will bless their loved ones, their children. And so it's a practice that I do with my child. And it's a practice that I think many Jewish folks do. And so this is a chance for, often you put your kind of hand on the head of your child. And traditionally folks will say the priestly blessing from Numbers. But sometimes people do creative blessings. And here we learn about this really beautiful blessing that her grandfather gives her. It's not just a blessing that is just a blessing. It's a blessing that has real meaning. Right? She says that he took stock of what she did that week and noticed something that was important, noticed something that was beautiful and profound about what she did, even as a 7-year-old. And was able to turn that into a blessing. Whether she, for example, right, she slept through the night or she slept without a nightlight, that she was brave. Just imagine that kind of blessing, that personalized blessing. And she would feel at rest, which is kind of funny or telling, because that was when the Sabbath Shabbat was starting, which was a time of rest. Feeling like she was already enough. She didn't have to do anything, unlike her family, her parents, who would, when she would get a 98 on a test, they'd say, "Where'd the other 2 points go? Why did you miss those?" But she, with her grandfather, just felt enough, already enough. She was at ease. She felt blessed. And then her grandfather dies. But at some point afterwards, and this is probably the most beautiful line that I have read in a very long time, but Dr. Remen writes that she realizes that even though her grandfather is gone, she can still hold on to his blessings. Because, as she says, once blessed, you are blessed forever. Let's just repeat that one more time. Once blessed, you are blessed forever. So just this incredible power of what it means to give blessing and what it means to receive blessing. And then at the end of the story, we learn, sadly, about her mother and Dr. Remen and her mother's relationship, and how that wasn't the same way as her relationship with her grandfather. But her mother still loved her the same way, but she realizes that she didn't bless her child out loud. So my invitation to you for this moment of reflection is to offer those blessings out loud. Say them out loud. Call someone to say them out loud. If you see someone, say it out loud. Offer that blessing. And know that when you receive that blessing, you are once blessed, you are blessed forever. So thanks for joining me. I hope you have a great day, and I'll see you soon.